Hello guys, what is up? SportsBanter38 here. I am Coach Carroll and we are going to do our Big 10 preview right now. I just sent out my Big 12 a little earlier, and of course we did Pac-12 yesterday, and we're going to do Big 10 right now, and then I will finish up with the ACC and the SEC this weekend. And actually I'll probably do at least one tomorrow and maybe one Saturday, and then I'll do my playoffs and playoff selections and championship after that. I may or may not come out with a bowl prediction or not. I don't know. There's so many bowls, and you know I don't like 6 and 6 teams getting in bowls, and I actually think you should win 9 games, 8 at the very least. But you know, it is what it is. Anyway, if I'm sending you this video on Facebook Messenger, just like any other video, remember, I'm not trying to sell anything. I just want to get discussion going on the big, the college football and NFL and sports in general. But if you like, subscribe, and share the video, we can get more traffic in. We can get more people debating what's going on in the football world and other sports. But at any point, if you put that you've subscribed, like you just send me a message, like after I've sent the video, whatever, through your messenger, if you put subscribed, I won't send any more messages. Or if you don't want me sending you a message of the video, then that's perfectly fine as well. Just let me know and I will not send any more. I'm not trying to spam or annoy anyone. I just want to get a good discussion going on sports. If you're a sports fan, then this should be a good thing. But please, like I said, like, subscribe, and share, and just let me know that you've done that through Messenger, and you'll automatically know when I put out my preview videos for other conferences and all that good stuff. But without further ado, we're going to get started on the Big 10. I'm going to start in the West, and the way this works is I'm not going to go over every single team for schedule and all that. The top 2 or 3 or whatever from each conference, or each division within the conference, I'll cover, and we'll try to get like an estimated sort of win or loss, and then we'll talk about who's going to win the conferences and who I have winning the conference championship game. So we're going to start with the West. And on the bottom in the West, we have Illinois, Minnesota, Northwestern. I'm not going to go too much detail on all these teams. I'm just going to, till we get to Nebraska, who they're going to be about 4th in the West. And Nebraska is an interesting case because, you got Scott Frost coming in as the coach. I personally believe that is a big deal. He has a winning formula. Now, whether his formula will work in the Big 10 or not is still up for debate. I personally believe it can, because I really do believe he's a good coach. And, of course, this is his alma mater. He's got his heart into this job. He's got a freshman quarterback coming in by the name of Adrian Martinez. He's a former commit to the University of Tennessee, and as a Tennessee fan, I had to go watch some highlights and see what the kid had a couple years back when he committed to Tennessee. And I got to admit, I'm extremely impressed with what this kid could do as a high school kid, going through his progressions, and then his delivery, his placement of the ball. I mean, extremely advanced for a high school kid. I believe Nebraska is getting a really good one in this kid. I don't know how he's doing as far as if he's on the list to play or start or redshirt. Anyone who is a fan of Nebraska, please chime in. Let us know that how this quarterback race is going. And they have a few other quarterbacks on the list who are in the mix to start or competing for the starting job. I know walk-on Andrew Bunch. He actually is from Independence High School in Tennessee. as far as going through progressions and finding receivers and those sorts of things. He is extremely good at that as well. I heard he's actually in the mix and is making a push. So we'll see how that goes. But they're not there yet. I mean, they still got a little bit of work to do, and I'm sure Frost has got to get some of his guys in there through the recruiting trail. And they're, like I said, they're going to be at about fourth, basically in the middle of the pack in this conference. Next up is Iowa. And Iowa, they are actually not a bad team. They're going to be third. I got them coming in third in the division. They're really good at quarterback. Some are saying their quarterback could be one of the best. I didn't get the information, so I don't got the kid's name, and I apologize for that. That sucks because I was going through all this, and that's the one I missed. I actually did not get that quarterback. But I've been keeping up with a lot of the news on a lot of these teams, and apparently some people are saying this kid he's not well known at the moment, but they believe he could be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. So I got them at third. At third in this division. And second, I have Purdue. Of course, they've got Coach Jeff Brom. He was a highly sought-after coach in the offseason for several teams who are looking for a coach. I believe this is going to be a year that they're going to take a step up. I don't believe they're going to overrun Wisconsin and win this division, but I do believe that they are going to make a push in this division within the Big 10. I'm sorry, and I believe they're going to be good, and I believe Brom will be getting better players in as a result of the increase in success. And Purdue could potentially push Wisconsin here in the next 2 or 3 years. I don't believe they'll do it this year, but I believe they will at least fall in behind Wisconsin in the West. And of course, that leaves us with Wisconsin. I've got them winning the West. It seems to be like a every year occurrence lately. But of course, Coach Paul Christ, they're a heavy running team, and they're going to look to do the same again with returning running back Jonathan Taylor. He was a freshman last year, went over 2,000 yards. He is definitely in the running for the Heisman. I look for this kid to be a very explosive running back once again. They got an experienced offensive line, which it seems like Wisconsin always has an experienced offensive line. Quarterback Alex Hornibrook, he is a very serviceable player. He does exactly what Wisconsin needs him to do. He fits perfectly with what they do. So Wisconsin is going to be extremely tough. I'm going to go through Wisconsin's schedule real quick just to see what we can expect out of them. Okay, of course they were 13-1 last year, so they're going to be good again. I believe they'll beat Western Kentucky, New Mexico, BYU all pretty easily. Iowa, with the star quarterback they have, apparently maybe they give them a little push. I don't believe that's going to be enough. They'll beat them. They'll beat Nebraska. Then they got Michigan. They're going to Michigan. Oh man, I don't believe they're going to beat Michigan at Michigan. Do not believe that's going to happen. Then they got Illinois. I believe they'll beat Illinois. They'll beat Northwestern. They'll beat Rutgers. They go to Penn State. And I don't believe they're going to beat Penn State. I believe Penn State will beat them. So that'll be 2 losses in the conference. And then I believe they'll beat Minnesota. So they're going to be 10-2 going into the Big 10 championship game. And I look for them to be tough. Whoever they play, they'll be tough in the Big 10 championship game. All right. Moving on to the East. At the bottom, we got Rutgers, Maryland, Indiana, and then here's where it gets tough. You got the Big Four, and honestly, you're going to see various predictions that are going to alternate these four teams as the winner of the East in the Big Ten. Because, quite frankly, it wouldn't surprise me if any one of them would win. I think this is going to be a tough deal as far as this division in the Big Ten is concerned. This division is pretty much SEC West caliber. I mean, they're really good. Starting with, I got Michigan State at 4, and barely got them over below the number 3 team. I mean, it's just that close. And this team could win this whole conference. I mean, it's very possible. But Michigan State practically has everybody back. I mean, they're not really losing hardly anything at all. And they were good last year. And, they won 10 games last year. That includes their bowl. But, they won 10. They got everybody back. So, they should be mad. They should be pissed off that I got them at 4. Because they're like, we won 10 games. We got everybody back. But let's go through their schedule. All right, I believe they'll beat Utah State. They'll beat Arizona State. They'll beat Indiana. They'll beat Central Michigan. They'll beat Northwestern. Penn State, I believe, will beat them. Michigan will beat them, even though they got Michigan at home. That's going to be a tough game for Michigan. But I believe Michigan can win that game. All right. I believe they'll beat Purdue. They'll beat Maryland. I believe they will lose to Ohio State. I believe they'll beat Nebraska, and they'll beat Rutgers. So, let's see. We got 3 losses. So, we got 9 wins. Basically, pretty much what they did last year. But, hey, they could very well prove me wrong. And, we'll see how that goes. Then we'll go up 1 to, I got Ohio State at 3. And with Ohio State, we have, let's see what we got here. Okay. I know Urban Meyer is in trouble. He's suspended 3 games. So I'm imagining that will affect their season to some extent. I'm not quite sure how much it's going to affect it, but it will affect it. Of course, they're loaded at running back. They got about 3 guys. They go 3 deep. That all of them will come in and run the ball. They've always got good athletes. Ohio State's going to be tough to beat any way you slice it. Quarterback coming in, taking J.T. Barrett's place. Right now, they're saying it's Dwayne Haskins from what I'm hearing. But I felt like Tate Martell would eventually be the guy that comes in because he is perfect for the offense they run. Now, he's probably not as good of an athlete as Haskins is, and I'm hearing Haskins is more talented than Barrett was. So maybe Tate Martell is he's not going to be able to get in there for another year or 2. I don't know. But at any rate, I believe that Ohio State, they're going to be tough as usual. Let's go through their schedule real quick. They'll beat Oregon State. I believe they'll beat Rutgers. TCU's on the road in Texas. That's a game I believe. I actually have them tripping up. I believe they will lose to TCU. I believe they'll beat Tulane. They go to Penn State. I got Penn State beating them this year. They'll beat Indiana. They'll beat Minnesota. They'll beat Purdue. They'll beat Nebraska. I believe they'll beat Michigan State. They'll beat Maryland. And I've got them losing to Michigan. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3 games that they could potentially lose as well right there. And they're good enough to win all the ones I picked them to lose. So, we'll see how that goes. Moving up, we got Penn State next. And, of course, Penn State, you got James Franklin at coach, of course. I feel like that's a perfect fit for him at Penn State. You know, he's been there for a few years now. The recruiting is up. They've got Trace McSorley back. They've had to replace Saquon Barkley. They're still good on defense. I believe Trace McSorley, I believe the hype. I believe he is very good, and I believe he will be good with this team this year as well. I believe he'll be called on a little more. Of course, they're replacing the running back because they got Miles Sanders. Sanders is who I see on the list right now. I believe he'll be able to come in, and I think he'll be a serviceable back. I think he's going to do fine. We don't know how good he is yet, but of course he's a highly recruited running back. He's expected to come in and get the job done, and I actually believe he will. Of course, Trace McSorley at quarterback is a Heisman candidate. We all saw what he could do last year. So let's go through their schedule real quick. All right, I believe they'll beat Appalachian State. Pittsburgh is at Pittsburgh. That's a tricky one, but they should win that game. They should beat Kent State. They should beat Illinois. I've got them beating Ohio State. Michigan State is a tricky one, but I believe they will beat Michigan State. They'll beat Indiana. They'll beat Iowa. They will. I actually got them losing at Michigan. I don't believe they'll beat Michigan. Then they've got Wisconsin at home. And I'm kind of up in the air on that one. I believe, let's see, I said Penn State would beat them when I was talking about Wisconsin because it was on the road. That's a toss-up, but I'm going to stick with Penn State. They'll beat Rutgers and they'll beat Maryland. So you're looking at a 10-11 win Penn State team. They're going to be tough. They're going to be good. And then winning the East. Finally, Jim Harbaugh has prevailed, and he has taken his Michigan Wolverines, or he will take his Michigan Wolverines, to the Big 10 championship. Okay. In Michigan, they have got a couple of stories with them, and let's see. Anyway, Wilton Speight transferred from Michigan to UCLA. That's who it was. And he is no longer with them. So they have a couple of quarterbacks. The McCaffrey kid, who's Christian McCaffrey's little brother, he is a highly sought after recruit. He went to Michigan and he is there. I don't believe he's not in the discussion to play this year. I believe they're going to redshirt him. That way they can maximize his eligibility, and when he can compete to play quarterback, at least save him one season. Shea Patterson, who transferred from Ole Miss, has gone to Michigan, and in my opinion, the only reason Harbaugh has not had as much success at Michigan as he could have had is because he has not had a very good quarterback. Shea Patterson brings a different spin to playing quarterback. He's a mobile guy. He's going to move around. I know Michigan likes to run the ball. They like to jam it up in there and just run. I believe Harbaugh will play to the strengths of Shea Patterson and allow him to do some of those things that he does really well. Now, I know some ESPN analysts, such as David Pollack in particular, he's not sold on him. He says, he hasn't done anything too significant. I get that. I understand why he's saying it. I just happen to disagree. I believe he's going to fit in nicely with this offense. Pollack also expressed his concern with Michigan not being able to run the ball very well. And although they didn't run the ball that well, I believe it's a little bit misleading. I believe teams basically stacked up against the run because the passing just was not a threat. I mean, they threw 9 touchdown passes last year. That's not good. I believe that will change this year. I got Shea Patterson throwing at least 20. I'm actually leaning more towards 25 or so. So that is going to open up that running game. Harbaugh has recruited well since he has been at Michigan. So he has players all over the field that will be able to complement Shea Patterson at quarterback. They'll be able to run the ball. Defensively, of course, they're led by linebacker Devin Bush. And I believe they are going to be one of the best defensive teams in the country. And I believe all these things combined is going to basically lead to winning the Big 10 East and putting them into the Big 10 title game against Wisconsin, where I believe they will once again win. We're going to go over their schedule really quick. Notre Dame, if they lose a game, that would be the game. It's on the road early against Notre Dame at September 1st. It's the primetime game. It's the game I'm looking forward to that first weekend more than any others. I believe Michigan makes a statement in this game. I believe their defense will be too much for Notre Dame. I believe they're going to hold Bush down a little bit. I don't believe he's going to run wild against them. And I believe they hold him in check and they beat Notre Dame on their turf, which is going to be a huge win. I believe they will beat Western Michigan, SMU, Nebraska, Northwestern, Maryland, Wisconsin. They got at home. I believe they will beat Wisconsin. They go to Michigan State. I actually believe this is where they're going to trip up. I believe they're going to have one loss. I don't believe it's going to hurt them too badly, but I believe they'll lose to Michigan State. I believe they'll beat Penn State. They'll beat Rutgers. They'll beat Indiana. And I got them beating Ohio State on the 24th. Now, it's hard to run through that without losing a game. So if I got to pick them losing a game, it's going to be Michigan State. But that's okay. They're still going to make the conference championship, and they still will beat Wisconsin. Because, let's see, make sure I'm not overlapping anywhere. I got Michigan State losing to Penn State and Ohio State. Okay. And I've got Ohio State losing to Michigan and Penn State. And I've got Penn State. Where's Penn State? Real quick here. Okay, I've got Penn State losing to Michigan. So that basically, it's one game. They both will have one loss in the conference. Michigan will win the head-to-head, so Michigan will go to the Big 10 championship. Okay. All right, that's all I got for the Big 10. We got Michigan coming out. I believe this is the year Harbaugh finally gets, arrives as head coach and delivers. And, this is going to be, it's going to be a great year. Big Ten's pretty stacked conference. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these games. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share, subscribe. Let's get some discussion going on about the conference, the Big Ten and the other conferences. I've already sent out a couple videos for the Pac-12 and as well as the Big 12. So this one is going up now. And thanks for watching, guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. And I am Coach Carroll and with SportsBanter38. And we are officially out.